How's it going? I'm excited that you're here for day 2 of the Manifesting Money Challenge. Today is very exciting because we are talking about breaking through to that next level of income. If you don't know me, my name is Jen Casey. I'm a business strategy coach, and I work with online entrepreneurs in the health and wellness field who want to turn their social media into sales. We all have a money set point, a place where we feel pretty comfortable about money. And today we're just gonna blow through it and help you break into that next level of income. So we're gonna talk a little bit about beliefs, blocks, and paradigms. And I don't even really like using the word blocks because I feel like it carries this negative connotation. And you may see a lot of online marketers like, gotta break through your money blocks, gotta, get rid of those money blocks. And I don't know about you, but when I think of the idea of money blocks or any kind of block, I almost see myself pushing up against a wall with an open door right next to me, right here. But I'm pushing against this wall like, I just want to break through my block. And I'm not seeing the door that's right here because I'm so focused on the block. So when you're focused on the block, you're missing all of the opportunity that's right here because what you focus on expands. So be careful, be aware, be mindful of where you are putting your attention. Thoughts become things. So if you're focused on your block, you're going to not only find more blocks, but you are going to add momentum and energy and vibrational frequency to the things that you actually don't want. So be careful of that and realize that all of your beliefs, I like to think of it in a very neutral way, or at least look at it, kind of zoom out a little bit and be really objective about these quote unquote blocks. I like to call them beliefs or paradigms. I think it's important to have awareness to say, okay, this is the holding pattern that I've had for the last 20, 30, 40, 50 years of my life. And I'm ready to release it. So we're just gonna do a little bit of work on that today, not spending a lot of time on the blocks, just so that you have that piece of awareness, because I think that can be really powerful for some people in releasing and stepping into a new belief. For some people, they just zoom right past it and they just are able to say, I don't have any money blocks. I'm good, I'm all set. So listen, you can call it a block, you can call it a belief, but if you're calling it a belief, be even careful about calling it a negative belief, because by doing that, you're placing judgment, shame, and some guilt around this thing that you've been taught. Probably something that was not intuitive to you. You didn't come into this world going, money's hard to come by. You had no preference or no feeling around money, but it's something that was passed down to you. So a belief so when we're looking at it, we're going, okay, well, this is my belief. I'm feeling bad about it. I've been trying to release it. Realize that it's not a negative belief. It is simply, and this is important, it is simply a belief that is no longer serving your growth and expansion. Okay? That's all that it is. Not a negative belief, no need for guilt or shame. It is simply a belief that is no longer serving your highest good. It is a belief that is no longer serving your growth and expansion. So it served a purpose. That belief, whatever it is, it served a purpose to get you to where you are today. It got you here. It made you the person that you are. It sculpted you, it shaped you, it made you the amazing person that you are, and it was all meant to happen in this exact order. You don't need to know why, you don't need to go in the past, you don't need to pick it apart. Just own that is what it is. When you came into this human form, you set the intention, whatever that intention was, to achieve a certain thing, and the universe is bringing you there in the fastest possible way, in the best way that it can. So anything that's coming in your way that feels like a hiccup, that feels like a challenge, that feels like a block, it is all for your greater good. It's all for the higher purpose, for you to learn and grow into the person that you're supposed to become. So now it's simply time to move forward with this higher level of knowledge, with this greater spiritual awareness, so that you can fully step into being the person that you know you have inside you, so that you can really get into that alignment, which we spoke about the other day. Get into that alignment, connect with your source, your inner energy, that spiritual side of you, so that you can soar to your limitless potential. Am I right? Can I get a yes if you're with me on this? So the first thing is we want to acknowledge and recognize and honor some of the beliefs that we've had in the past. Like I said, no judgment zone here. And we're going to pivot some of these. So some of the big beliefs that a lot of people have around money, right, is, and I want you to post below, what are some of the beliefs that you know, let's not even take you. Let's take your parents. What are your parents' biggest beliefs around money? Think about your parents. If you were to say to them, hey mom, hey dad, fill in the blank, money is, what would they say? where they say, money is hard to come by. Money is hard to come by. Money causes problems. Like, comment below, let me know, because this is really, really important work, because most likely you've passed it down and it's been passed down to you and you're passing it down to your children, because it's super just, you're just like, well, this is the way it is. This is the way it goes. And if you take a look at your family, a lot of times where with the size of the house, the income they had, the job they had, next generation, very similar. Very similar. There are obviously some exceptions where, maybe somebody had a ton of success and then the following generation, they didn't really work hard, everything was handed to them, and then they don't understand success. Different perspective. So know this. This is so important for you guys to know, and start to pick up, like, did that somehow trickle down to me? Am I in subconscious way living out those beliefs that were not even mine, that weren't even my parents' beliefs, that were passed down to them? Like, I know my mom's side of the family, my grandparents, who practically helped to raise us, they were our babysitters full time. They grew up during the Great Depression, and my grandma, when she was a little girl, they came over to America, and I think she was born in America, but her father, my great-great-grandparent, he was a quote-unquote wealthy man at the time, and he came to America with $80,000. He had this big fur trading company, and his business partner took all of that cash and ran right before the Great Depression. So they went from having all of this wealth, all of this money, being really comfortable, to being 4 little girls with 2 parents in this small little apartment, broke as a joke, to the point where my grandparents were in their 80s and they wanted to save things that were broken, like broken plates, broken toilet plungers. Like, they wanted to save everything because they had such a intense scarcity mindset around money. And it was because of the generation in which they grew up and because of circumstances that they experienced as young children. And that's where their money blueprint came from. So it's really, really important to be able to look back at that and ask yourself, okay, how is that impacting me today? Do I need that? Do I need those beliefs? So some other things that happen for a lot of people is there's never enough money. Or if you grew up with parents who were like, oh, well, there's always more bills at the end of the month and not enough income. Ooh, Elena says there's only one way to have money: to work hard and make sacrifices. Boom. That is such a good one. That there's only one way to make money, and it's through working hard. And that was one that I had as well. And I think that's such a great one, especially for us online entrepreneurs, because there is so much abundance. There is so much wealth to be made online through serving people, through putting yourself out there, because you can reach bajillions of people online. You're not boxed in with a location-based business. And so when you're able to reach your people like in 10 seconds or less online, it just opens you up to so much more wealth. But when you believe that wealth or money can only be accumulated or can only come to you through hard work, what happens for a lot of entrepreneurs with that belief? They burn themselves out. They do it all themselves because they only equate money, like time equals money. So they just keep doing, and then they burn out and they have nothing left to give. And they actually block themselves from raising their prices, from bringing in more money, because they see it as, well, it's going to be more work if I make more money, because they haven't been able to separate the two things. So that's such a big thing to be aware of. Another kind of similar to that, making money takes hard work. Now, I've just recently, or within the last year, began really studying investing, a lot of stuff with Tony Robbins in particular, and what I've really found from that, and I'm not giving any kind of financial advice because I'm not an expert in that whatsoever, but most wealthy people are not wealthy and have not accumulated an abundance of money and lots of zeros in their bank account because they worked, not because they worked hard, but it's mostly because they've been really smart about investing and they've been smart with their money. But most people who have never had parents who experience that, they don't know what they don't know, and they don't realize that that's another way to have your money multiply over a lifetime so that you can put your money in a Roth IRA, few $1,000s a year, and have over $1 million by the time you're 65. So when I started reading about that stuff, I was like, why did no one teach me this in high school? Why did no one teach me this in college? Why did my family not know about this? Why was I not encouraged to begin investing at 18? It's just, if you're in a family or you're in a circle where that's not the norm and everybody's kind of in the dark, you don't know what you don't know. You don't realize that's even a thing, right? Some other things that a lot of people struggle with that they might not even realize is that money is the root of all evil. Like really think to yourself, what does a millionaire look like? What does a millionaire look like? If you're like, oh, well, they're a total a-hole and they have like fur on and like $400 high heels and they don't give back and they're this and they're that. Well, if you're saying on paper, I want to make $1 million this year, but that's your visual of what a millionaire looks like, do you think you're going to reach $1 million? No, because you have this conflict in your image of a millionaire and your desire to have abundance for yourself. So if you have that conflict, you're going to block yourself from achieving that level of financial abundance. Another big one that a lot of people struggle with is there's never enough. There's never enough money. What if I lose it all? Right? So for, like I was saying before, for those of you who maybe didn't grow up with an abundance mindset or with abundance in your life, or with like parents growing up, if they just kind of were juggling debt or juggling credit cards or never had money in the bank or didn't have a savings or don't know what a 401k is, you're like, well, I don't know how to manage money. What, like a lot of the girls that I work with, they're like, well, I want to make money, but what about taxes? Am I going to have to give it all away to taxes? And because they are not learning these little things, they're not looking at their money, they're not studying money, they're not understanding it, especially us women, we're not raised to be wealthy. We're not encouraged to learn how to be wealthy women. And because of that, we have all of these, socioeconomic things that are kind of almost ingrained in our society. Keeping all your money, hoarding your money. That's also, in a way, a lack mindset around money. If you're afraid to spend anything, sure, you'll have money in the bank, but money has to have a flow to it. There's got to be that give and that receive. There's two sides to money, because really, money is just energy. Like, how many of you guys are like, yeah, I can get on board with that. Yeah, I get what you mean. Money is just energy, just like anything else. If you believe in manifestation and thoughts become things, if you can manifest a button in your hand and $1 on the street, it's the same thing. Same thing as $1 million. The only difference is we believe one's harder than the other. And because we believe one's harder than the other, we create resistance around it, which prevents it from coming or makes it take longer, right? What about something like, well, life isn't a charity. Life isn't charity. Don't take charity from people. You need to earn your own money. Like some people are like, well, no. Like I can't receive money from somebody buying me a coffee. I can't receive money from the lottery. If I'm going to be wealthy, I have to personally earn every single dime that I make for it to have the same weight of importance. So is that one for you that's becoming present? Because that's another big one to really, really be aware of. And another one, okay, this was one that I heard the other day. I was hanging with Denise Tuffield Thomas, and she's talking about how when you're a little kid, people say, when you're a little kid, right? You pick up a dime, you pick up a quarter, little dollar bill, and what little kids, they want to put everything in their mouth. What do parents say? Don't put that in your mouth. What do they say? Don't put that in your mouth. Money is dirty. That's dirty. How many parents say that to their kids? When she said that, I was like, oh my gosh, well, I'll be damned. Like, how many people say that to their kids? And kids go, oh my God, money's dirty. And what I thought was so beautiful about when she shared that, Laurel says, it'll make you sick. Yep. So that's how early on this programming begins. It's dirty. Money's dirty. And we, as little kids, we're not cognitively developed enough to go, oh, they mean like dirty because there's germs and like germs have bacteria and like 1 million people touched it. No, we're still in that egocentric mindset where everything revolves around us. We don't understand that like things are happening outside our experience and other people are living lives and touching money. Like that's what? We can't even fathom that. So we just go, oh, it's dirty. What else is dirty? The floor, this, that. Like we only know what we're told. So we think money is dirty. And Denise Duffield Thomas, she was sharing a story that she became very aware of that when she had her daughter and caught herself one day saying that and never ever said it. So one day a stranger said something to her daughter, who was maybe 4 at the time. She was like, oh, don't do that. That's money's dirty. And the kid went, no, it's not. Because it was foreign to her, because they were always very, very mindful about making sure they didn't say anything negative or not saying that money is dirty, and really giving her a very empowered mindset around her money. Okay, so what are some other money stories that are in our society, in our culture, that we know people have. Money is dirty, money is hard to come by, mo money, mo problems, like money equals stress, money causes fights between spouses, there's never enough. Those people over there, they're the ones with money. We're not the ones with money. They're the ones with money, right? Those people. We don't like those people. There's that separation. How about having money makes you selfish? How many of you guys have a little twinge of a fear that if you become financially abundant and make 3 times the amount that you're making right now, that the people in your life might reject you and look at you differently and treat you differently? And maybe I've had so many women like, well, if I make money, my mom's going to expect me to pay for everything, or my brother-in-law is going to expect me to buy him a house or a car or a boat or whatever, right? And listen, I'm going to be real with you guys. There was a little bit of that when I kind of came into some abundance, some financial abundance, and I was a little bit jarred by it, but it didn't last, and I created it because it was my belief. I had a belief that people were going to use me, that people were going to want my money, and people were going to expect me to pay for them. And it didn't last because it was all in my head. And I created that because I was manifesting that on some level. That was my fear. And then on the other side, I also really wanted to pay for everything because I was so excited that I had so much money, and I just wanted to give because I was so excited that I received. So just be aware, if that's one of your beliefs, it's just a belief. And you manifest your own reality. So if that's something that you're replaying for yourself and that's your biggest fear, write it down and go, is that really true? Do I want that to be true? If not, what do I want my truth to be? And rewrite that story for yourself. What if you lose it all? What if you make all this money, you're rolling in dough, life is good, and then somehow it all gets taken away? That's another big one. I want you guys to fill this in. Money is blank. Give me 1 or 2 words. Money is. Another big one, especially within the coaching industry and the online entrepreneur industry, is that only greedy people charge a lot for their services. Like, where does that come from? How about you are an expert in your field, you've gotten people results, and you've earned the right to charging your worth. How many of you guys struggle with creating boundaries and owning your prices? Some of you are going to say money is abundant, money is energy, money is exciting, money is fun. And some of you will say money is scary, money is hard to come by, right? So just be aware of what's playing in your head. And now that's like the one piece. Those are kind of like some of the money beliefs. And I think it's really important for us to take some of those things, and some of those things that I mentioned, they might resonate for you. They might not. And if it doesn't resonate, don't look further into it. I'm only bringing this up, not because I want you to focus on the negative, not because I want you to focus on the lack, but because I want to help you identify, without having to dig too deep, what are just some of the things that resonate. And if it resonates, okay, if it's triggering something, you're like, oh, yep, that was my dad's thing. Just be aware of it without judgment. Just say, okay, that could possibly be a reason that I'm maybe not taking that next step in my business, that there's something there. So let's flip that a little bit, and I want you guys, part of your homework for tonight is to really write down some new money beliefs for yourself. So if it's money is dirty, what's a positive belief for that? What's a kind of opposite of that? So what about money is beautiful, money is abundant, money is hard to come by, money is easy, money flows easily to me. There's never enough money. There's always more money flowing to me effortlessly. The universe brings me exactly what I need and exactly what I ask for. Instead of money is the root of all evil, money is simply energy, and whatever I focus on expands, and the more that I focus on the abundance and my ability to manifest, the more money flows to me. Making money takes hard work. This is a big one for those of you entrepreneurs. These are just kind of shifting your money beliefs, guys. And so these can be mantras. You can call them mantras, incantations. These can be things that you write out every single day. They could be things that you say to yourself first thing in the morning, which we'll talk a little bit more about. But quick thing on first thing in the morning. Why is that important? Because your mind is not yet consumed anything. And so you're in that state where you are able to prime your brain. This is psychology. This is not me just like throw in hot air, like, oh yeah, priming, that sounds like a cool idea. No, this is a legit thing where you actually prime your brain. And when you do that first thing in the morning and say, Today is going to be an amazing day where people flow to me easily, work is going to be fun, it's going to be easy, money's coming to me. Well, you've just set the tone for your entire day. And if you do that consistently, yes, you will have less resistance. You have less resistance in the morning, and so you'll be able to create. You are now in the driver's seat. You will be able to create the day that you want, as opposed to having the day drive you and having other people's agendas kind of move you from task to task. So it's kind of just getting yourself in the right mindset. A lot of spiritual teachers talk about that. A lot of psychologists talk about it. I'm just kind of prepping your mind first thing in the morning before you allow any other information to come in, so that you can come into the world in a very intentional, purposeful way. So start thinking about some new money beliefs for yourself and allow them to feel a little bit uncomfortable. Allow them to stretch you. So part 2 of this, we just kind of talked a little bit about some of the money beliefs that a lot of you guys may or may not have, and some quick little shifts that you can make. So now I want to talk about you and your belief in your ability to succeed, because that's a huge piece of money as well. So why, when we are entrepreneurs, when we are online coaches specifically, because those are the ladies that I work with in particular, online coaches, network marketers, and it's time to level up, and it's time to step into this new tier, this whole new thing where we've never tapped into it before. We have this fear come in, and it's like, oh my God, I'm scared, I'm freaking out. What if it doesn't work? And what are some of the thoughts that come in for you when you're about to invest in something big in your business, when you're about to maybe go on your first podcast, when you're about to launch your course and you've never launched a course before, when you're about to get on a sales call with somebody who you know is going to be an amazing contributor to your business? What happens? What are the things that we say to ourselves? The little gremlins creep in, the monkey mind, as many spiritual teachers call it, kind of that chit chat. And one thing that I loved that I just want to quickly interject with, I remember back in the day reading Don Miguel Ruiz, his book. It wasn't The 4 Agreements, which was one of my very first books, and it's such an empowering book. Go check it out. But it was his book, The Voice of Knowledge, which is literally all about the monkey mind, the chatter. And he said, if you're the one who's listening, because we're listening to our own thoughts all day on repeat, the broken record, if you're the one who's listening, who's doing the talking? And that just, in that moment, I remember reading it, and it just smacked me right in the center of the head. And I had to take like a good 20 minutes to just really sit with that. It just kind of stopped me in my tracks. If you're the one who's listening, who's doing the talking? Who's talking? Where are these thoughts? Where's this messaging coming from? It's not really coming from you, because your source, your inner aligned energy, is the one that's really listening. So who's doing the talking, right? It's not really coming from you unless, and I don't know about you, but I know when I have a really aligned, empowered thought, or when I'm sitting and reading something that really aligns for me, and I'm just like, ooh, that was good. I literally will get chills up and down my body. And in particular, when I'm reading the book, any book by Abraham Hicks, who's a very well-known group of spiritual guides, I will literally sit there reading their stuff, listening to their stuff, and I'll just have goosebumps the whole time. Like it'll be like almost like a wave of goosebumps and chills and energy over my body every time, because every sentence resonates on such a deep spiritual level. I remember the first time that happened, and I was like, am I weird? Like, does this happen for other people? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Like, I know that I'm very highly sensitive in the feeling world, in the feeling realm, but I was like, I wonder if that happens in that way for other people. And I know some people, they hear things, they can see things. I just happen to be highly sensitive with feeling, but it was the weirdest thing. Yes, instant inner knowing, exactly that, where it just, my source, my inner, which I call it source energy. That's what Abraham Hicks refers to it as, and that really resonates for me. Some people call it like you're part of your creator, God, the universe, higher knowing, like whatever word works for you. It's super interchangeable. Whatever resonates for you. For me, source works really well, and I don't know if this resonates for you guys, but I remember listening to another really phenomenal life coach, psychologist, spiritual teacher, and she talked about how we all have what she believed to be 3 separate kind of entities within us almost. So it's like we have the body, we have the everyday self, and then we have the higher self, higher consciousness. And I thought, that makes perfect sense. Like, that made perfect sense to me, where it's like my everyday self is almost like kind of getting all mixed up in the nonsense of the day, the trivial pedestrian stuff. And then there's my body, which I need to take care of separately because I'm not my body. I'm just in my body. And then there's my higher consciousness that is always trying to come through, always trying to give me guidance. And the more I can stay fully connected to my higher consciousness, the more fulfilled I feel in every moment of every day. Like, I don't know if that resonates for you guys. That is simply a suggestion for your consideration. If it resonates, take it. If not, just leave it over by the curb. Someone else will pick it up. You know, it's just what resonates for you. And if you had an inner moment just now of like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, cool. If that brought you closer to something that makes you feel more connected, great. Okay, so when we're looking at something like that, we're saying, okay, our higher knowing, our higher consciousness. When we're saying things to ourselves, when we decide, let's say, for example, we decide I'm going to hire this mentor, or I'm going to speak on this stage at my conference for my company, or I'm going to partner with this amazing person. Whatever we're going through in that moment, we have this exciting moment. We're like, I'm going to do this crazy cool thing. And then what happens? We have that moment where we're trusting our inner knowing, our inner guidance, where we have that moment, we're like, I'm going to do this thing. And then almost instantaneously, because we're in that moment of growth and we're ready to level up, it's like, oh, I'm not ready. I'm not expert enough. I'm not expert at all. I think I need to be certified. I need to be certified. I should do that first. And then I should claim that I am a coach or an expert. I really want to start this business, but I'm not creative enough. Like, where are my ideas going to come from? I don't have that many ideas. I don't know anything about business. I'm not blank enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not skinny enough. I'm not funny enough. I'm not weird enough. I'm not smart enough. And on and on and on and on. I'm just not motivated. I'm just like, I'm lazy. I'm not motivated, right? How many of you guys freaking do this to yourselves? Why do we talk ourselves out of greatness? What the frig? Like, what is our deal? You're like, yeah, no, I really want to do that. Like, I really want to invest in this system that's like going to change my business and get me like 1,000 times ROI. So I'm going to make $1 million next year. But, I'm going to do that once I get fill in the blank. Once I get just like some new lighting systems. Like, what? I'll get that thing for YouTube, but like I have to buy that ring light first, and like I'll get to it. Even though it's going to make me like millions of dollars. Like I just have to get that thing first. But then I also have to get that new microphone and those lights. Yeah. So I don't know if I can. Yeah, I guess I can't do it yet. But I'm really, really interested. Really interested. Right? What the hell? Like, what the hell? We freaking do this to ourselves all the time. My favorite is like, when we're like, yeah, but like, oh my God. And I love you guys. I love all my woo people, but like, and maybe and listen, I'm rocking my crystals right now. So I've got my sage behind me. No hatred at all, no shade, but just like, another big one is like, oh my God, you guys, like I was going to do this thing, but like the moon, like the freaking moons, like what the hell? Like I think Mercury must be in retrograde, like my period's like all crazy. I don't know, like my horoscope the other day, it said this crazy thing. So that's why I couldn't take that action. Like what? Like come on, like what in the world? What goes on? Like we will find any excuse. And I'm in so many spiritual groups and I'll see these posts about like, anybody feel really weird the other day because Mercury was in retrograde? And yeah, you better believe if you look for a reason for something to be wrong or you look for an out, you'll find it. Like you will 100% find it. And those threads, I dare you guys, next time, I don't know anything about Mercury in retrograde. I have no idea what goes on. But next time one of those things are happening or some moons are happening or there's some like weird stuff, I think all that stuff's, legit, obviously. But watch what happens for us psychologically when somebody makes a post in a Facebook group about one of those things happening, everyone's like, yes, oh my God, girl, like, yes, I was feeling crazy yesterday. Like, come on, you guys, like, own your stuff. Own your stuff and take full responsibility for it. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, okay? Because it's so easy to blame it on something else. And sometimes, listen, sometimes our brain needs a little break, and it's not the end of the world to just kind of put it on hold for a minute and hand it off to somebody else for a second. But I think we got to own it. And when we own our own power, not only do we get to own our own failures, but we get to own our successes as well. So none of this stuff of like, I'm going to blame other people for my failures or blame the moon for my failure, but I'm going to take credit for my success. No, own all of it. It's all coming from you, your subconscious, your vibration. You are putting out into the world exactly what you get back, right? And it's this whole idea that your thoughts, your vibration is brought through by your thoughts. Your thoughts are on repeat in your head, and they become your beliefs, and your beliefs become the things that you do every day. That belief drives behavior, and behavior is really interesting to look at because it's measurable. It's measurable and it's tangible, and we can take a look at your behavior and the habits that you have every single day, and I can tell you, and you can tell yourself what kind of success you're gonna have in 5 years. What kind of success you're going to have in a year based on your habits. You know, it's going to be the difference between that high school kid who makes it to the NBA and the kid who's going to spend his college years filling gas, right? It's because habits matter, but habits come from behavior, which comes from our beliefs, which comes from the thoughts and mantras and incantations that we practice on a daily basis, which comes from us being consciously aware of our emotional guidance system and mindful of the way that we prime ourselves every single moment of every single day. Whew. Good stuff, right? Does that make sense? It's all connected. It's all connected. So the assignment for you. Are you guys ready for this? So piece number 1 of the assignment for today is to take some of the stuff we talked about, some of those limiting beliefs that are no longer serving you. They served you up until this moment. No hatred, no shame, no guilt around them. They brought you to this moment, and now it's time to release them and let them fly away. Fly away. So now, find a new power mantra. Find something. I don't care what it is. It's got to inspire you. So I can give you some suggestions, but it's got to literally give you tingles all over your body. It's got to you got to feel it in your gut. So take some time to really think of some different ones. One that I love in particular that just makes me really giddy. This is a Jen Sincero one. I actually have this on the back of my phone. And it says, I just want to see what I can get away with. To me, that makes me really giggly. I'm like, oh, yeah, this is a game. This is kind of fun. Yeah. I'm going to see what I can get away with. What if I reach out to this person? What if I throw down this money and actually get an ROI? You know, so just like it opens some things up for me personally. So find one that resonates for you. It could be one that somebody else created. So share yours below so that sharing is caring. And we're all co-creating here. So this is a fun little space. So that's part 1. That's part 1. I just want to see if I can. Yeah, I just want to see what'll happen. Because that kind of takes the pressure off. So find a power mantra, and you can have more than one. And what could be a cool thing for you to do if you're just kind of getting in this process of replacing some of these old beliefs, and you might not even be aware that some of these beliefs are coming through. You might not even be aware that you're thinking about them all day long. I remember I was in a tight financial place for a while, and then I signed my very first high ticket client, and it was a few $1,000s. And I remember going for a walk being like, holy shit. I just made a few $1,000s. This is crazy. Because I was down to, because I had invested a ton in my business in a very short period of time, and I was down to the last $1,000. So I was like, oh my God, I have all this money. This is weird. And then as I'm going for a walk, I'm like, oh, I'm broke. I got to figure out money things. What am I going to do? And I was like, wait, no, I'm not. What? Where did that come from? And I had no idea. I didn't even realize until all of a sudden I had this money that I was thinking about my lack and the lack of money almost all day long. and it no longer resonated for me because it was no longer true. And so all of a sudden, I was like, holy shit, like I really think about this all the time. Dang, like I gotta be more mindful of that kind of stuff. And of course, you can't go chasing thoughts. Like we talked about on day one, like we talked about, be mindful of your energy, be mindful of your emotion, because that's gonna tell you, that's your little compass of what am I thinking about, and do I need to shift my focus? You don't need to go digging into what you're thinking about, just change your focus. So for you, replace your beliefs, or just really don't even worry about replacing them. Find something that resonates for you, that lights you on fire. Find a power mantra, find something that's an incantation. Okay? And you can even find a cool meditation. I had done a little, I think it's episode 72 on the Social Media to Sales podcast, where it's like this 4-minute, it's the only one that's 4 minutes. So if you go and you check it out, you'll see it. And it's kind of like this little 4-minute pep talk. Just this thing that kind of came out of me in the middle of a meditation, and I thought, what if I just record this and put some music behind it and kind of give it to my tribe? And people were like, holy crap, this is freaking fire, this is power. So go check that out. I'll link it up for you guys. And that could be one thing that you check out. And so that's part one, find a power mantra. And then assignment number 2 is no complaining for 24 hours. How many of you are game for that? And listen, you may find yourself in a moment where you're complaining, and then it's okay. You're going to catch yourself. You're going to recognize it. You're going to honor yourself and say, I was complaining. Okay. I'm going to pivot, and I'm going to go to my power mantra. So that's why we did that first. We want to go back to that power mantra. If you're somebody who hates sitting in traffic, and don't try it, just commit to it. Commit 100%. Say, I am not going to complain. I am going to find abundance in every moment. I'm going to find beauty in every moment. And if it comes up, it comes up. Don't judge it. Don't shame yourself. Don't guilt yourself. Don't say I ruined it. I messed everything up. It might be a deeply ingrained habit. I'm going to do it too. And listen, I am not holier than thou. I am not I've done a lot of practice on my spirituality and my spiritual work, but I still have got my everyday self. I've got my higher self. I've got my body. I've got my everyday self. So I've got to check my everyday self as well, which is why I'm giving this to you, because I think this is something that this is a practice that can change the world, literally. So yeah, catch yourself. It's okay. Just be aware. And not even catch yourself. That has a negative connotation. Just be aware. Acknowledge it. Say, I was complaining. Interesting. Okay. I don't need to complain because it doesn't serve me. If you're in traffic and you're like, I hate this traffic. This guy's trying to cut me off. It's like, interesting. And just create a new mantra for yourself. So it might be, if you're feeling anxious in your car, you might just say, I am safe. I am warm. I am safe. I am safe. I am safe. If you are, in the office and your employees are annoying you, you might just say, I'm very grateful for my wonderful work environment. And it's okay if it feels not 100% true right now. You've practiced some other things for a really long time. So obviously practice makes perfect. So you've perfected some complaining things. So it's time to shift some of that, right? So do you guys feel like that's something that's possible? Does that feel somewhat doable? Does it feel a little bit scary? It should. If it doesn't feel scary, then we've got to come up with some other stuff, because it should feel like it's going to stretch you a little bit. If you're going, I don't think I can do that. I don't think I can not complain for 24 hours. Number one, all the freaking more reason to do it, because it's going to change your day. It's going to change your life. Like, you guys are here because you want to manifest more money, but we gotta clear some cobwebs first, starting with some of these fundamental things. So if you can not complain for 24 hours, do you understand what's going to happen to your vibration? Do you understand what's going to happen to your level of alignment? Dude, you're going to just open up the floodgates for abundance. It's crazy. So don't worry. If you're worrying about complaining, that is in itself a form of complaining or worrying. It's a low vibration. So don't give it a lot of attention. Just give yourself, here's a great thing to do. On your phone, if you're worried that you may run into some moments throughout the day where things are going to come up, negative things are going to come up, set timers on your phone for times of the day where, maybe it's lunchtime and you don't like your coworkers, and just put a little timer on your phone with a little alarm with something positive, the opposite of what you normally think during that time of day. If you know at 4 o'clock you always sit in traffic, well, Come up with something else. Come up with something else to replace it. If you are waking up early in the morning and the first thing that you have is all of your to-do list stuff coming up on your alarm, change it. Change it. And make it something that is really, really empowering, and it's your power mantra. Cool? Are you guys game for this? Are you open? Are you open for the challenge? So if you want to jam out with this, come hang out inside the Facebook group Intuitive Boss Babes. Even if you're catching the replay of this, even if you're hearing this well after the quote-unquote challenge is over, come hop into the Facebook group. You can go to heyjencasey.com/group and share your takeaways. There's other people who are listening to this right now who are going through this with you, who want some accountability, or who have maybe done it in the past and want to go through this again. So connect with some of the ladies inside the group. That tribe is growing so flippin' fast. I cannot even believe it. And the energy and the momentum of positivity and excitement in that group is like literally blowing me away. I am just so truly honored for each and every one of you who have joined that tribe, who are contributing to the amazing energy and the amazing breakthroughs that are happening in there. So Intuitive Boss Babes is the Facebook group. Come hang out if you want to join, heyjencasey.com/group. And if you guys have any quick questions, I'll hang for a sec and we can kind of go over some stuff. If you guys know there's somebody that needs to hear this today, please share this with them. Share this with them, take a screenshot, tag them, whatever it is, and just pass this along. If it was powerful for you, pass it along. That's kind of the whole idea of abundance. And yeah, I love you guys so much and I appreciate you being here. I hope that this was powerful. Leave your biggest takeaways below or inside the Facebook group Intuitive Boss Babes. And I will see you guys for tomorrow's day 3. Have a good night. Bye.